movie was written by a man named Mike Phillips, and I was giving you his bio. He was born in Guyana. He came to Great Britain as a child. He grew up in London. He was educated at the University of London. He worked as a journalist and a broadcaster. He did programs like The Late Show and Omnibus, which are both British television shows. Then he became a lecturer, all right? And after he became a lecturer in the University of Westminster, he began to write. So he began full-time writing in 1992. He did some crime fictions, 4 novels featuring this black journalist named Sam Dean, the fictional character. The title of some of his books are Blood Rights, Late Candidate, Silver Dagger, Point of Darkness, Shadow of Myself. And finally, he wrote the book Boyz N the Hood, which was adapted by John Singleton, he was the guy who wrote the screenplay for the film. This guy, Mike Phillips, probably witnessed the same rite of passage for young blacks growing up in black. I'm thinking about how growing up in a neighborhood where there's lots of shooting and a lot of violence, how does that change a person? The theme of, there have been a lot of movies, and I'm sure if you guys think you can remember a movie about people, a situation where you have one person who's probably trying not to go and get involved in trouble, but then he becomes friends with another person who all he wants to do is get in trouble, and how that ruins that person's life. Hanging out with the wrong people. Ricky was a football player in this movie, and his brother was a gangbanger, played by Ice-T, but Ricky had a great future ahead of him. He had just received a scholarship to play for USC, which at that time had a great football program. Normally, people who went to USC ended up playing in the NFL. That's why he was so excited, because he was good. But he just had the misfortune of having a brother who ended up at that same party that you talked about, getting into that altercation with the other guy, pulling out a gun. And sure enough, what happened? They couldn't find Ice-T, so they shot Ricky and killed him. And the Cuba Gooding character in the movie, it impacted him because his father was right there with him and making sure that he was going to college and he had his future involved. And in one night, Cuba Gooding was willing to throw away his whole future because his friend was killed.